In the world of geopolitics, some stories just simmer for years, while others, they explode overnight. And right now, we are witnessing an explosion. A truly seismic shift is unfolding in Venezuela. We're talking a story of secret diplomacy, unbelievable oil wealth, and a nation that's teetering right on the edge between a democratic rebirth and total collapse. And that's really the core message here. Seriously, hold on. Because after years of sanctions, of struggle, of silence, the entire geopolitical chessboard has just been flipped over. We're going to break down exactly what's happening, why it matters so much, and what it all means for the rest of the world. So, let's kick things off with the first major development. And this one is a diplomatic bombshell that has completely rewritten the rules of the game for the US and Venezuela. It caught just about everyone by surprise. Get this. For the first time in 7 long years, a top U.S. diplomat is actually on the ground in Caracas. The American embassy, which has been pretty much a ghost building since it was shut down, is reopening its doors. Now, this is way more than just a symbolic gesture. It's the first huge, clear signal of a monumental policy shift coming out of Washington. The arrival of a veteran diplomat like Laura Dogu means one thing. The U.S. is officially back in the game, inside Venezuela. Now, the details here are absolutely key. The mission is to engage with everybody, the opposition, the activists, and the new interim government. But, and this is a big but, the U.S. is stopping short of officially recognizing them. This is a strategic pivot. It's a move away from those overt military threats towards a much more subtle, high-stakes game of diplomacy and economic pressure, all wielded from the inside out. To really get the gravity of this moment, we have to understand how Venezuela even got here. You see, this wasn't some sudden crisis. It was a slow, agonizing decay from one of Latin America's wealthiest nations into a full-blown failed state. And the journey, it's just absolutely heartbreaking. This timeline, it really shows the tragic decline. It all starts with Hugo Chavez and his promise of a socialist paradise, but it ends with Nicolas Maduro's corrupt and totally failed state. The human cost has been just immense, with millions fleeing poverty, hunger, and repression. The capture of Maduro back in January 2026 was the critical turning point. It shattered his regime and forced what was left to the negotiating table with the United States. Just let this number sink in for a second. 1,000,000%. At its peak, Venezuela's hyperinflation hit over 1,000,000%. Think about what that actually means. The price of a cup of coffee could double in a few hours. Your entire life savings wiped out. The currency became literally worthless paper. This is the complete and utter destruction of a society, and it really sets the stage for everything that's happening right now. So, with the country in ruins and the old regime completely shattered, the stage was set for a radical new American approach. And this brings us to President Trump's strategy, a really complex playbook of force, diplomacy, and strategic deal-making that has totally turned the tables. Wow, this move by President Trump is nothing short of a geopolitical masterstroke. In just one sentence, he signaled a massive realignment of global power. By shifting India's huge oil purchases away from Iran and over to Venezuela, the U.S. is squeezing Tehran's economy and rewarding Caracas for its new cooperation at the exact same time. It's a high-stakes play that is literally reshaping the global energy map. And here's why this pivot is so incredibly significant. Just look at these numbers. Venezuela has the world's largest proven oil reserves. We're talking more than Saudi Arabia, more than Iran. For years, this ocean of black gold has been trapped by sanctions and just catastrophic mismanagement. Now, by starting to reopen the taps, the U.S. has gained enormous leverage on the world stage. The new U.S. strategy is really a mix of the stick and the carrot. So instead of just relying on sanctions and hoping the regime would collapse, Washington is now using the lingering threat of force, but combining it with a powerful promise of economic incentives, or sweeteners, to push for real concrete reforms. It's a much more dynamic approach, and it's already getting results. And here is one of the most important results so far. Since this whole pivot began, over 344 political prisoners have been released. These are journalists, activists, students, people who were jailed just for daring to speak out. For them, for their families, these releases are a profound symbol of hope. It's a tangible sign that all this pressure is actually working. But this isn't just a story about presidents and oil deals. At the very heart of this political drama is an absolutely incredible figure of courage and defiance, a woman who has become the moral compass for Venezuela's entire democratic movement. Those are the words of opposition leader and now Nobel Peace Prize laureate Maria Corina Machado. She really embodies the resilience of the Venezuelan people. After her party won a landslide victory in an election that Maduro immediately nullified, she became the regime's #1 target. Her story is just one of incredible courage. I mean, for 16 months, she lived on the run, constantly moving between safe houses to evade capture and even assassination. And then she made this dramatic escape from Venezuela, which allowed her to travel to Norway and accept the Nobel Peace Prize in person. Her journey has made her a powerful global symbol of her country's struggle for democracy. Now, her political position is both principled and pretty complex. She refuses to negotiate with what she calls the illegitimate interim government, arguing, it has no democratic mandate. And yet, she openly admits that they are complying with U.S. instructions, releasing prisoners and reforming the oil sector, not because they've had a change of heart, but because American leverage is forcing their hand. Okay, now let's zoom out to the global stage for a second, because this isn't just a story about Venezuela. The Caracas pivot is sending massive shockwaves through the world's energy markets, and it's creating a whole new set of winners and losers. The winners are pretty clear. U.S. consumers could see some relief at the pump. India saves billions on oil imports, and American energy companies are definitely eyeing a return. But on the losing side, Iran, which loses a key customer. Russia, which now faces downward pressure on the oil prices that fund its war machine, and China, which sees its economic leverage over Caracas start to evaporate. And that right there is the crucial link back home. Foreign policy can often feel so distant, right? But this pivot could have a direct impact on your wallet. Bringing all that Venezuelan oil back online can lower global crude prices, which could mean real relief for American families at the gas pump. And that's a powerful political factor heading into the midterm elections. So with prisoners being freed and oil deals being made, it's really tempting to just declare victory. But the reality is, it's far more complicated than that. Venezuela is entering a new, uncertain chapter. So is this a genuine new dawn, or is it just a temporary truce in a very long conflict? You can really imagine 3 potential paths forward. The best case? Reforms keep going, leading to free and fair elections by 2027, allowing democracy to finally take root. Then there's the middle case, a kind of tense stability where the oil flows, but true political freedom just stalls. And the worst case? The interim government backslides, protests erupt, and the U.S. has to snap all those sanctions right back into place, plunging the country back into darkness. And this is the central tension that's going to decide everything. All of these new oil deals, all these reforms, they're being made by a government that has zero democratic legitimacy. Without free and fair elections, any progress is basically resting on a foundation of sand. Investors know this, the world knows this. Lasting stability can only be built on the will of the people. So that right there is the ultimate question, isn't it? The doors to Venezuela's vast oil wealth are creaking open for sure. But will the doors to its prisons open for good? Will the ballot boxes be transparent? Look, the Caracas pivot has unlocked the country for business, no doubt. But whether it can truly unlock it for freedom, well, that remains the biggest question of all.